feast. All you wounded and weak, come and receive the bread of life. Bread of life. Come to the feast, from the greatest to the least. Drink and believe the blood of life. The blood of life. And the memory of who I was fades away in the arms of love. Watch my fears come undone like a thief on the run from the unrelenting heart of God. Come to the table, all you broken and unable. We're beggars to be made whole again. Made whole again. And come to the table, empty-handed and grateful. Taste and see the goodness of the Lamb, the great I am. And the memory of who I was fades away in the arms of love. Watch my fears come undone like a thief on the run from the unrelenting heart of God. From the unrelenting heart of God. We're all dry bones, longing for a Savior, waiting for the God of life to put us back together. We're all dry bones, longing for a Savior, waiting for the God of life to put us back together. We're all dry bones, longing for a Savior, waiting for the God of life. And the memory of who I was fades away in the arms of love. Watch my fears come undone like a thief on the run from the unrelenting heart of God. From the unrelenting heart of God. All the poor and powerless, and all the lost and lonely, and all the thieves will come confess and know that you are holy, and know that you are holy.
about ready to get started. And to start smoking your meat, you're gonna need a fire. And some of you who smoke meats who use like a Traeger with pellets and all that stuff, nothing against that. I just don't have it, which is why I'm up at 3 in the morning, starting on this analog smoker, offset smoker. So you need a fire, and I use wood. In this case, I'm using oak wood. I got it from Paul Bunyan wood pile, something down in Guadalupe. So, about to get started on our fire. First things first is I use a chimney starter, and I have some lump charcoal in here. Not everybody does it this way, but I use the lump charcoal first to kind of get some coals established, and then I'll put my wood on top. So let's build this fire. What I do is I take a little butcher paper, and this is some grapeseed oil, and I just kind of put some of the grapeseed oil on the paper, butcher paper there, crumple it up, and then set it in the bottom there, and then light that baby up. I'm gonna let that light up, get a bunch of coals, and then I'll put it in the firebox. All right, while I'm waiting for the coals to get hot, let's get this meat open, shall we? Oh, ho, ho, ho. All right. Now, this is what we call pork butt, and it's about 8 pounds. So you have like the fat cap here, solid side here. So it's called pork butt, pork shoulder. It's not actually the butt of a pig, it's the shoulder, but it's called a pork butt. I don't know why, just is. So this is what we're gonna be smoking today. Now, for seasoning, I know there's a ton of different types of seasonings that people want to use. For me, only because I watched a master class from one of my favorite barbecue places, and I was surprised to learn that the seasoning that they use is salt and pepper. That's it. So we have some coarse ground black pepper, and we have some coarse kosher salt. And just this little shaker, there's already some in it from past smokes, but what I'll do is I'll just put equal parts black pepper, yep, and then salt. I'm not really a measure guy, I just kind of go by look. So that looks not even. Better. All right. Wrong cap. And then you just shake it up. Make sure it's all mixed in there. There's already a little bit of paprika in here for color. Doesn't really matter. You're not going to taste it. Paprika doesn't really have much of a taste anyway. But it's in there for a little color, but there's not a lot. I'm eyeballing it. It looks fairly decent. Actually, could probably use a little bit more salt. And remember, if you're doing a pork butt, if you're smoking a pork butt, it's really bland on the inside. So this is a meat that you're definitely, it's not going to be a bad idea to super over season it. Because once it's done, you know, you mix it all in, and hopefully the bark on the outside will mix in with the kind of the blander meat on the inside. It shouldn't be that bland if you're smoking it right, but yeah, that looks about right. All right, so salt of the earth, going back to the earth, mustard. Before you generously apply your rub, you lather it up with mustard. And the reason being is it sticks, helps to stick to the pork butt. So just lather that in there. Just get it all mixed in. Cool thing about this is you're putting a bunch of mustard on here. You don't really taste the mustard at the end. Like I said, it's just to help the rub stick. All right, that's on there. And like I said, you're gonna apply a ton of rub to the pork butt. So I'm gonna start with the fat cap on the bottom and just go to town. All right, that is looking good. For brisket, you're going to do a lot of trimming of the fat. For pork butt, it's not necessary, and we'll talk more about it later, but that fat will render, it's gonna get all nice and squishy and buttery and melty. It's gonna really kind of really add a lot of flavor and moisture to your pork butt. So you don't really need to do a whole lot of trimming. They usually come, I got mine at a butcher's. I think it's Von Houston's or Von Hastings, I can't remember. Make sure to get that name up. But their pork butts come perfect, already ready to season and to put on the grill. All right, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go rinse my hand off, and then we'll get the coals in the firebox. Just gonna pour the coals in the firebox here. It's good to go. Now that these coals are nice and red and hot, we're gonna put the wood in and get started on this fire. Like I said, this is oak. You can use any kind of wood you want, but and actually this is my first time using oak. I've been using pecan, mesquite, mesquite's a little bit too harsh, I think, for pork butt. It's just a very intense flavor. So we're trying oak. Hopefully oak tastes good. Okay, the fire's looking pretty good. We are gonna smoke this pork butt at about 270 degrees for about 10 hours. So it's a long day. Probably not gonna put it on until about, at this point, 4:30, 4:45, which is okay. Keeping it at 270. Thing about pork butt is it's pretty easy. You can't really mess it up. I keep it around 270, about 8 hours. I'll wrap it up in foil and then leave it off for another 2 hours. And then you let it rest typically for about an hour. The thing is a lot of the fat, has to render and melt. It's going to be all delicious. And then once you're done, you're going to pull it all together and mash it together. It's going to be great. So temperature is getting close. So probably about 10 minutes. I'm going to put it on the grill and we're going to go from there. It's still very early in the morning. It's dark outside and I'm probably the only one up in my neighborhood. But it's a good day to smoke some meat, smoke some pork. What's up, people? Well, at this point, this guy has been on for about 3 hours. Yep, 3 hours. So what you do about at this point is to you want to start spritzing, and you start at the 3 hour mark and you spritz every hour, and that's to keep the meat from going dry. And like I said earlier, the pork butt, it's gonna have like a nice crust around the side, and the fat's gonna render, so it's gonna be juicy. But this kind of helps keep it moist as you go along. Also remember to have the tray of water in there to keep some humidity going in the actual barrel itself. So when I spritz, I use apple cider vinegar. You can use water or something else, beer, but apple cider vinegar works really well. So I'm gonna open this thing up and start spritzing, and yeah, we'll do this every hour. Yeah, it's looking good. Okay, come back in an hour or so. Well, pork butt, this is hour 8, and now it's time to it's time to get this thing wrapped. There we go. Just because I'm extra, I'm just gonna do another roll. Why? Just because this is going to be great, because the meat is really going to get tender and juicy in this process here. So it's pretty important to get this foil pretty tight. Essentially now we're kind of, still putting this thing in heat, but it's not going to absorb any more smoke, which is okay. It's been getting a lot of smoke for 8 hours. Now it's time to really get it juicy, get that fat rendered. Really wrap that. Okay, good and tight. I'll throw that back on there. Boom. Close that lid up. And then we got another 2 hours. and this thing will be ready to roll. All right, we are done. Internal temps should be, when you pull it, should be about 203, 204, 205, 206. Internal temps for these were pretty warm, but that's okay, because it's just gonna be, that fat's gonna just be juicy and succulent and all melted in there. So what you do is you just kind of really just wanna check the consistency of it. It just should just slide in, slide out. Not a lot of give. So that's looking good. We are gonna let this rest for probably about an hour or so, and then we'll open it up. You'll see the magic, that delicious pork butt ready to go. All right, let's take this inside. Well, we've come to the end of our journey. Thank you for sticking with me in this very, very long cook. This is the moment of truth. When we take the foil off and see if I did my job or not. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm very nervous because it's gonna be very embarrassing. It's just not look good. Here we go. Pull this foil off. Here we go. Here, my friends, is the pièce de résistance. Oh man, that's beautiful. Look at that, juicy. Now, this is the moment it should really. You know, the pork butt's done. You got this bone, and it should just be able to slide just right out, and it does. It just kind of comes right out. So there you go, guys. Pork butt done, accomplished. The first several times I made a pork butt, that bone did not slide out. It was very dissatisfying at the end, but here we are. It's done. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna shred it up. You can use your hands, but it's a little hot, so I'm just gonna use my fork, get in there a little bit, shred this guy up. Look at that. Now, I checked the temperature. The temperature was great, it's good. Because it's such a thick cut of meat, you're gonna have some parts that are just gonna be a little bit tougher, maybe than the other parts. It's okay. Temperature is still fine, it's cooked. You know, if you have misgivings, you do it a couple times, you're like, I keep getting some hard parts, just leave it in a little bit longer. But, you know, it's pork butt, it's meant to be shredded and kind of look like this, and here we are, beautiful. Thank you guys for joining on this divine kitchen. I'm gonna go eat a lot of pork butt.